Riktor has been one of my favorite heroes ever since he came out in early access. He has an insane playmaking potential, and with that, he's really hard, in my opinion, to get right, to balance appropriately, and ultimately kind of design and think of what he is. With that pull, I tried my best to rework him. I really did. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a Hero Rework video. I am Sylphin. A couple of things right off the bat. One, this in no way represents what Unleashed Games is or will do in the future. This is just my ideas. These are just my ideas that I've come up with the community, so huge shout out to the community for helping me with all of this and bouncing ideas off of. No way represents what, what Unleashed Games are going to do. 2, hero passives are coming back, so we have to add in passives to heroes and try to think of what those are supposed to be. 3, I like the idea of quest mechanics in abilities. If you use certain ability or abilities in a certain way over time, you get rewarded for that and the ability gets empowered somehow. I like it. I think it adds a unique sense of gameplay, a gameplay loop, and a higher skill ceiling as well. So, for Riktor, what is his gameplay niche theme? Each hero has to serve a purpose in the hero roster, and they have to be emphasized and designed toward that. There has to be a reason in the draft lobby for you to say, aha, I need Riktor in this scenario because of these reasons. You just need that. Heroes have to be that, or else there's no point in having a lot of heroes and having different heroes, right? There has to be a gameplay reason. So Riktor, in my opinion, he is the ultimate crowd control / utility tank. He's the ultimate utility tank. He can silence, he can pull, he can stun, he can slow, and he's just a big guy that gets in the way. That is him. He's a beast. But there has to be some trade-offs, and please keep that in mind with this one. Numbers, toss all the numbers you see over there out of the window. Just think of the concept. Just think of the concept, because those numbers would have to be really balanced very well, because at least I love Riktor, so maybe this is a little bit too much. I don't know. I love him. Just keep in mind, numbers can be what they need to be to make him balanced. Just get the concept of his rework, which isn't too much of a rework, actually. It's just a little bit of a tweak. You'll see. You'll see. Passive. What is his passive that emphasizes his crowd control utility tank nature? Well, as long as Riktor has at least one enemy under a crowd control effect, Riktor gains 5, 10, 15, 20% additional armor. Again, throw those numbers out the window. I'm not going to say numbers anymore. Riktor gains additional armor when he has at least one enemy under a crowd control effect. Whether he's pulling them, whether he has them silenced, whether he's slowing them down, whether he's stunning somebody. During the duration of the crowd control effect, Riktor gains additional armor. And just pay attention as we go through the rest of his abilities here. Pretty good. It's pretty passive. Really incentivizes you to spread out your crowd control, your utility, spread it out to get more value and use it at appropriate times. Riplash. Riktor throws his chains towards a target location up to a fair distance away, because the new map is going to likely be larger than monoliths, so have to be tweaked and balanced and all that stuff. A way to pull an enemy unit towards him and dealing some damage. 14, 11 second cooldown, whatever. After landing 15 Riplash on enemy heroes, it'll have to be fairly significant. Riplash silences and slows all enemies in a small radius around the target's original location for 1.5 seconds. So, the thinking is this. Riktor, he doesn't have much of an initiate. He's just a big guy with nothing that teleports him forward. The only thing he has is his Riplash. So if you could land it in the later parts of the game, when you go to Riplash somebody out of the enemy team, if you land that hook and you pull them towards you, you silence and slow all enemies in a small radius around the target that you're pulling. So basically, it prevents, say, a Muriel from going, oh crap, my carry's getting pulled, I want to shield him. Well, you have to wait 1.5 seconds. It prevents the enemy steal from going, oh crap, my carry has just been pulled. I need to use my ultimate. I'm forgetting what it's called. I need to use my ultimate on the enemy team to try to disrupt them from completely annihilating my carry. Prevents a little bit of reaction from the enemy team, at least in the small radius around your pull target, for a small duration. I thought it was pretty cool. What do you guys think down in the comments below? Riplash, it's pretty much the same, just besides that quest mechanic. Shock therapy. Riktor instantly lashes out with his chains, which is a big deal because before it was so bugged and it was so useless. You would press shock therapy, you'd be smashing your basic attack button, sitting there for like 2 seconds, not attacking anybody, and then your enemy would just run away from you and you'd be like, great, I have this empowered basic attack that's completely, it was baloney, it was really dumb. Riktor instantly lashes out with his chains. As soon as you press shock therapy, he deals damage, silences an enemy, just one, for 2.5 seconds. Just silencing them, dealing a little bit of damage. No more slow. 10, 9, 8, 7 second cooldown. Why no more slow? Because I've always felt like Riktor, his Electrocute needed to do something a little bit more. And here it is. Energy flows out from Riktor in a 650 unit radius, a little bit bigger than before, not too much, but a little bit bigger. It's a little small in my opinion, dealing a bit reduced damage, a bit reduced damage, still enough to make him a jungle pick or a solo lane pick. I mean, solo lane, he's just a beast in the solo lane. But still enough so that he can jungle, but reduced from before, and slowing enemies by 20, 24, 28, 32%. Not too much, maybe just enough to negate the basic attack penalty. It's a bit of a slow, but not too much for 5 seconds. So for the duration of the Electrocute. 13, 12, 10, 11, 10 second cooldown, whatever that needs to be. But he slows people now in that radius. Makes him a little bit more... I always felt like that was a change that it synergizes better with him. His shock therapy is more of a, oh, I need that right now to silence somebody. Right now, you just, boom, you have to use it right now because it's a reactionary, or it's actually, it's a preventative ability. But the slow on it always felt wrong. Electrocute always was like, so I deal damage. Okay, I'm a tank, I thought, you know. So if in this scenario he's a crowd control utility tank, his Electrocute has to do something more than just damage. It has to slow people and get rid of that slow from the shock therapy, moving onto the Electrocute, make him a little bit more of an AoE crowd control tank, something like that. I think when you think about it more, it is definitely a little bit more appropriate than what it used to be, especially considering his purpose as a crowd control utility tank, right? Reduced damage. Skewers is his ultimate, which was the biggest reason why I think Riktor wasn't as super duper meta as he was. He was super meta when Wraith was completely dumb, but I think he could have been more meta if that niche Wraith Riktor thing wasn't a thing. I think he could have been more meta and just better designed, in my opinion, with a different ultimate. Now, it's kind of the same thing, but just listen to this. Skewers, his new ultimate. After a 1 second delay, Riktor summons Skewers at a target location. It's a 300 unit radius. It's basically a bigger Sevarog Subjugate, up to 650 units away, not that far, about half of basic attack range, or about half a range basic attack, so it's still fairly close, dealing damage and stunning enemies caught in the effect for 1.5 seconds. Essentially, guys, it's a Sevarog Subjugate that you can only place much closer to you, about half basic attack range, in a bit of a bigger radius than a Sevarog Subjugate that stuns and stuff. So basically, you aren't stunned yourself. as Riktor. I think that really makes it a little bit better. Yes, gaining additional armor when enemies are under a crowd control effect would help with your old ultimate, because as you're completely stationary getting pounded on by anybody on the enemy team, you will have additional armor. At least this, it really makes him much more flexible and much more meta, a possible meta pick in the higher elos. So what do you guys think? My gut is saying this is a little bit too much, but again, all of these numbers can be severely reduced down. I think the concept is very, very good, very, very compelling, a lot of fun for a hero like Riktor. It just, those numbers would have to be balanced for sure. It seems very, very strong. I would just really emphasize that the balance for this concept would have to be done very, very, very carefully. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think. I love this idea. Love it. I'd be Riktor rank 30, like if Riktor was this, because he would be so much fun. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of this Riktor rework. Please like the video if you like it, dislike it, share the video, of course, guys. Subscribe if you guys want more Paragon 2 Unleashed Games content. Let me know down in the comments. Like always, guys, stay positive and optimistic.